Whether you're a fan of Optimus Prime as he appeared in the original Generation 1 cartoon, or more recent alternate incarnations, you probably associate the voice of actor Peter Cullen with this character. Thus, it may surprise some to know that the toy that preceded Optimus Prime in Takara's DIACLONE series was never meant to be a sentient, living being at all. Let's discuss this right here and now. Stay tuned. Some of the information and images in this video were found from the Transformers Square One website, and I'd like to thank Maz for agreeing to share this information, as well as for all the Transformers knowledge he has shared with us over the years. Please visit his website using the link in the description below. Additionally, please hit that subscribe button if you would like to be notified of my future content, and have a look at my Patreon site at patreon.com/toyconnections. The link is in the description below, as is the list of names for my existing Patreon supporters. When I've talked about Holy Grail figures in the past, I've often referred to the best grails as being the ones that are not only a challenge to find, but also have a level of personal connection to me in this hobby. For me this time, this pre-Transformers figure, which bears the official name of DIACLONE Battle Convoy, holds a special place in my collection because of what it represents in Transformers history. As he was the figure mold and design that Optimus Prime was eventually based off of, I felt that the acquisition of Battle Convoy was more than just a toy to me. It was a big part of the early genesis of the Transformers toys that I've come to appreciate and enjoy over the years. My initial chance to purchase one of these was all the way back in mid-2003, when I was still a student and not in a position to pull the trigger, so to speak. I'm happy to say now that a nearly 2-decade journey has come to fruition. On my Evolution of Toys, History of Transformers video that I released in June of 2021, I hashed out some of the backstory with how the Transformers franchise pulled existing figure designs primarily from Takara's earlier toy lines, such as Diaclone and Microchange, as well as select robot figures from other toy lines. While Diaclone as a brand launched in 1980, it was the 1982 Car Robots series that formed much of the basis for what would become the original Generation 1 Transformers Autobots. With figures released in a numerically labeled format, the 17th figure in this line is the subject of today's video. Number 17's Diaclone Battle Convoy, released in 1983 before he was ever known as Optimus Prime. Looking at the figure's box, the color scheme differs from that of the Transformers era that eventually licensed the figure mold and likeness, but was made by the same Japanese company that would release Transformers overseas in the 1980s, namely Takara. The box has seen better days and the side flap is missing, but I knew that I wanted to display him in box as it just resonates more with me for some reason. The foam inside is actually a custom piece from a previous owner, and this figure has changed hands at least 3 times to my knowledge. Now, if I can track down the original foam one day, great, but if not, the key difference in this custom foam is that it does not have a slot for the Diaclone drivers that this item originally came with, and it just so happens that I am also missing those drivers, but I do have plans to track them down sometime. Many of the figure's accessories are the same as the earliest 1984 released Optimus Prime, with bloated fists and bloated gun, as well as the hose, pump, and nozzle, not to mention the gray missiles, though these accessories do differ from the more commonly released Optimus Prime accessories from later in 1984 as well as 1985, and you'll see the difference in size for some accessories, but also most notably, you'll see that the roller is a different shade of blue and does not have the extension pieces on the back. The cab of both figures looks largely the same, but some very subtle differences include a slightly different shaped peg attachment where the smokestacks connect to the figure's shoulder, whereby the Diaclone is a square-shaped connector, but the Generation 1 version is round. Otherwise, one Optimus Prime is as good as the other. The trailer is definitely where some differences occur in color, not to mention the large Diaclone sticker on the Diaclone version as opposed to the Autobot emblem that would become a staple of the Generation 1 version. As you can see here, the trailer opens up and transforms identically to the other versions of Optimus with a lot of the same inner trailer features. Note also that the spring mechanism that projects the missiles as well as roller seem to have held up really well over the years, which is surprising for a toy of this age. Battle Convoy looks pretty much the same as Generation 1 Optimus when it comes to leading the charge for his band of Autobots. And here's a look at him with not only the G1 Optimus, but also the Generation 2 Optimus with the black trailer from 1993. For me, the beauty of showing this is to show the shift and evolution of Optimus or Battle Convoy from his pre-Transformers days to G1 to the eventual G2, a prime for all ages, as I like to call it. And here are my vintage primes and Battle Convoy with some modern as well as third-party versions of our favorite robot leader. Hey, Who knows, maybe someday I'll decide that an original micro-changed gun robo in the Walther P-38 style will make its way into my collection to serve as the forerunner of Megatron to go with Battle Convoy. Also note that there were other versions of Battle Convoy, such as the windowless box version by the company Joustra, which was released in European countries such as France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, as well as Belgium. Now, the red cab of Battle Convoy was also a variant release from the usual blue cab as part of the Gig-powered convoy set in Italy, where the armor was eventually recolored into Ultra Magnus in 1986. As it stands, this DIACLONE Battle Convoy will remain among the most cherished pieces in my toy collection. I consider pre-Transformers toys special and historic due to the robot toy boom that was eventually spawned when Hasbro and Takara rebranded these toys into the Autobots and Decepticons that we've come to know and love over the decades. Once again, I must thank my good friend Jeff, who lives local to me, for finding this figure to sell to me, as the acquisition of this figure has become a milestone moment in my years of collecting. The overwhelming feeling of having gotten a figure like this is so seldomly replicated due to my fascination with the Transformers' storied past, especially the various figure series that came before them and the contribution that they had with shaping toy history. So before I sign off, I would like to ask all of you a question. Hopefully you've been able to sense my deep personal and emotional connection to what this figure means to me when I'm talking about it. Now, regardless of price, rarity, or initial availability, I'm here to ask all of you, is there a figure in your collection or one that you're hunting down that brings a similar sense of joy in your life? Please, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section below. So that's it for this video. Again, please subscribe if you already haven't. Press that like button and share this with your friends. Otherwise, in the words of our famous Autobot leader, till all are one and transform and roll out.